Narcissism, the true pandemic, the structures of capitalism and socialism, etc., and other ideologies are corrupted to the core. Anyone with a conscience can see what is happening. A veil of evil has corrupted the world. The illusion is shattered. Sadly, the psychopaths and sociopaths at the top have abused their knowledge and power through obsession and desire to possess. The evil at the top continually empowers through evil spirits, energy harvesting, akin to what they show in the movies The Matrix. They worship Satan, embody evil, and use spiritual abilities and evil rituals, ceremonies to project their evil energy onto us, all from birth. The Satanists have now performed in front of us to breed and harness evil. There is adequate evidence to prove they illegally and immorally harvest the physical adrenogram, but they also utilize the energy of the succubus spirit and female covert narcissistic behavior, which I believe they propagate through the genetic chain and subconscious trauma bonding. Those who hold the power categorize this as a mental personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and is referenced to within the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition. I believe this isn't a disorder, it's the summoning of lost souls and evil spirits. They are individuals with no sense of self, lost identity, and no emotional stability, because they have been destroyed emotionally from a young age, and a form of generational bonding from skipped generation genetics. These behaviors are passed down through the genetic chain. The condition is exacerbated depending on social and economic conditions within the family environment. The argument of nature versus nurture, the environment we live in, is presented to us as a reason for conditions such as autism, bipolar, etc. But this is fabricated through the illusion they have created since the 1800s and the field of psychology, which is indeterminate about whether it is a science or not. Psychology is the abused magic of the universe. These people fabricated these conditions to overshadow the beginning of their depopulation cycle, which we are now in another phase. The depth of the illusion and the mass deception is so great, it's extremely difficult to explain because it appears so absurd and impossible. But that is what they rely on to prop up their illusion, that it is so grandiose to even suggest it is a possibility, so they project their negative energy on those who call them out to account for their evil actions. Those who can see past the illusion become demonized, and the brainwashed population remain mentally trapped. The world is now destroying itself for them. They no longer have to force people. Those individuals are so lost and deceived by the evil veil of fear, and possessed by the genetic bodies of all the men and women who have had intercourse with or without consent, poison their genes, which unveils in trauma through love bonds, that they are happy to go and kill themselves with a Pfizer jab, still with the thoughts in mind that it is known to kill, and has been causing continuous excess deaths every week, and there is no concern at all. The deception is carried out through the structure of written word, paperwork, institutions, terms and conditions, and the spoken word, which is the casting of a spell. These tie in with the spiritual realm, as through the quantum level everything is a bond, entanglement in the fabric of this 3D experience. They are hindering the souls waking up in the newborns to ascend to heaven and experience the real reasons of being on earth, to learn from positive and negative experiences. However, they are now seizing control and exploiting the free souls and continuing to condemn them to the loss of healing, to escape into the 5D, because they are corrupting them physically from birth with the harmful chemicals that are purposely harming and cause autism, which is not really autism, but the disconnection of the human brain to its subconscious, which allows connection to the divine, the ability to self-heal, self-stabilize, self-actualize, be independent, stable and rational, logical and emotional through the portal of the heart. They have purposely disconnected us. The separation of the left and right hemispheres, which shut down our senses, abilities to mature and communicate, control our emotions. They have created foods that are purposely toxic, known to cause cancers, neurological conditions, addictions, and they are so evil through their manipulation of words and language. They train their supposed care practitioners to have no empathy because money is of importance, and the role they played in causing your addictions, etc. Well, that is of no consequence. You must be responsible for knowing what you put in your body. They manipulate the language of the labels, e.g. the name it, some code. This is done on purpose, rather than explicitly stated as they are relying on. You remaining ignorant to researching what label truly means, and the effect those ingredients' chemicals are going to have on the individual mentally or physically. And as time has progressed, they have earned and gained an implied trust from the population through the use of popular platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, etc., to continue to influence individuals to continue partaking within their evil corporate structure, which is the dream that Satan feeds them by corrupting their egos. We continue and accept what little support we get. We have come to a period in time now where this is no longer acceptable. People are continuing to buy their crap through these corporations and expecting to have a good life. These evil people have betrayed us all, and the problem seems to be acceptance of the truth, as many are still brainwashed to the fabricated illusion they have projected onto the masses' minds. The World Health Organization, etc., is known to the masses as an independent body, a collective of a member from each country, but it's not a representative of the country. It's an evil representative of the registered corporation of that country. This is why none of them are elected, and the illusion, those in authority designate or delegate themselves. They exploited earth minerals and exploited people for slavery and money to build an empire, which they now have the audacity to virtue signal and project on the masses everything they do to harm us, and many just do not see it because they will never wake up, never heal, never see an alternative perspective above ego or higher self-consciousness, because they can't detach their egos. The school system and TV from early age is subliminal mind control programming, and while each generation is born with a different set of morals, ethics and values, it is done to divide and conquer, to purposely create negativity in the world and continue to conjure up evil, withholding as many individuals from reconnecting with the divine to leave this illusionary world of evil behind as it comes to an end. As prophesied in the Bible, they have been carrying out their agenda for nearly 2 centuries now, and are withholding through the illusion the power of the sovereign human being, a mature independent soul ready to ascend to heaven. Generations of children physically appearing okay, however brain damaged, or emotionally traumatized and having a brain that will never mature or progress beyond the 3rd maturity level, leaving individuals trapped in their bodies, hence the term adult children. They achieve this and perpetuate it further through sexual activity and promiscuity. They create confusion between the sexes by causing division, by labeling everything. This creates further division of the subconscious mind, and individuals become partially self-aware. These thoughts, indoctrinated thoughts, causes emotional instability, anxiety, depression. They use an illusion of what relationships are and what love truly is. They withhold purposely human nature and the mating cycle process between humans, because it causes division between couples. Reference alpha, beta and sigma males, females, etc. These theories I recognize the most from my personal experience, and I intend to elaborate on further research I have carried out on this, how we build connections and true authentic bonds, so our souls can truly experience the human experience without fear of rejection or abandonment. Through Disney movies, etc., manipulative use of language and demeaning one sex continually, they are mentally destroying generations of men, with huge increase in suicide numbers, etc., as well as the women's souls, and being emotionally damaged through being in connections with traumatized individuals. However, unfortunately, we are all victims, therefore it negates blame. We now know who is responsible, and we intend to hold them to account and expose as many to a true soul awakening as possible. Satan and his minions purposely draw you to a life of money, ego, and material possessions as being a form of love, etc., and a reason to live for, but it is actually killing you and stopping you from being so much more abundant in life. They were responsible for creating manipulative psychological targeted advert pains in the 50s, such as diamonds are a girl's best friend, to play on the unconscious feminine nature of hypergamy, and that a man is only worthy if he can provide material, or if he shows up with flowers and gifts, blah blah. Look now at how the agenda is driving people go be more openly sexual and allowing children to be exposed to subjects that should never go through a child's mind, such as questioning their gender, etc., at such young ages. This is all done to create the confusion on purpose. Our children are open spiritually, and this makes them extremely vulnerable to this abuse, and all are targeted by forcing and creating confusion that a child needs to decide a certain way is abusive and not empowering as they claim. Why does it need to be highlighted to begin with? They do it so young because it emotionally imprints. And if you're mentally unable to understand what you're feeling, potentially do not develop specific regions of the brain, leaving said individual permanently brain damaged and emotionally stumped as they are no longer able to connect spirit through the mind, body, and soul. They may never get the chance to heal because the trauma is so deeply ingrained. We are all born with souls that are a duality of masculine and feminine energy vibration. It is in our journey of self-discovery to discover both aspects within to become whole spirit souls. Our bodies are irrelevant and only a vessel to carry the soul. Everything they teach about psychology through science and the founded institutions on this planet are using reverse psychology on the masses to create this illusion. They consistently do their best from allowing your soul to become one within your body and to ascend to heaven. I asked the ChatGPT AI tool some questions, and here's its response. I wanted to highlight the scientific perspective and the spiritual perspective above. Could narcissism be projected upon the people through gender? ChatGPT narcissism is a personality trait characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, a belief in one's unique and special qualities, a need for excessive admiration, a lack of empathy, and often a sense of entitlement. It is typically considered a personality disorder when these traits significantly impair a person's functioning and relationships. When discussing narcissism and gender, it's important to note that narcissism is not inherently tied to any specific gender. Both men and women can exhibit narcissistic traits. However, societal expectations, cultural norms, and gender roles may influence the way narcissism is expressed or perceived in individuals of different genders. Here are some considerations. Cultural and gender expectations, expression of traits. Societal expectations may influence how narcissistic traits are expressed. For example, in some cultures, assertiveness and self-promotion may be more socially acceptable in men, while women might face different expectations regarding humility and modesty. Perception of narcissism. There might be differences in how narcissistic behaviors are perceived based on gender stereotypes. For instance, assertive behaviors in men might be seen as confidence, while similar behaviors in women might be perceived as aggression or arrogance. Narcissism across genders. Prevalence. Research suggests that narcissistic traits can be found in both men and women, but the prevalence or manifestation of specific traits may vary. Different expressions. Some studies propose that men may more commonly display overt or grandiose narcissism, while women might exhibit more covert narcissistic tendencies. Overt narcissism is characterized by grandiosity and seeking attention, while covert narcissism involves a more subtle approach, such as playing the victim. Cultural variation. Cultural norms play a role, and the expression of narcissistic traits can vary significantly across different cultures and societies. Narcissism as a personality disorder. Diagnostic criteria. Narcissistic personality disorder is diagnosed based on specific criteria outlined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. It does not have separate criteria for men and women. Individual differences. While there may be general trends, it's important to recognize the vast individual differences within each gender. Not all men or all women will exhibit narcissistic traits, and personality is influenced by a complex interplay of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. In conclusion, while gender roles and cultural expectations may influence the expression and perception of narcissistic traits, it's essential to approach the topic with nuance. Narcissism is a complex personality trait that can be observed in individuals of any gender. Understanding and addressing narcissism require a comprehensive approach, that considers individual differences and the broader societal context. ChatGPT closing conclusion. They tell you everything. In detail, you need to value your time and not your money to pay attention. I believe there is enough evidence to suggest that Big Pharma have utilized numerous techniques to establish narcissism as mainstream behavior, or it is a result of all the toxic chemicals and encouraged negative behaviors of the 7 deadly sins as part of their depopulation program. And it is evident that those who have no sense of self are the brainwashed, unlikely to ever see past the veil of words and evil and the deep state, cartel, corporate overlords. However you decide to describe the evil that run the world. JM 1311 2023.